I want to talk about something I think every great author, athlete, and artist understands, and that's how to confront resistance. So what the hell am I talking about? Creativity is life. It grows, it builds, it produces, it solves problems. It brings things into existence that couldn't otherwise be there. It redeems and resurrects. It brings passion and love into the world. But resistance is death. Resistance wars against the creative act because it's its antithesis. Resistance doubts, shames, connives, and misconstrues and hates. It destroys. You must know this if you're going to succeed in, I think, any meaningful creative endeavor. Deep creativity requires, I think, bravery. But resistance will reward passivity and fear. Resistance doesn't need you to be dead. It just needs to paralyze you. I think we experience this as fear, shame, doubt, ignorance, unsolicited online criticism. Resistance will come from all kinds of unexpected directions. But if you are pursuing the creative act, it will come for you somehow or another. Resistance knows how to find your weak point and how to twist it. Whether it's something you struggle with internally or whether it comes from the outside in, it's coming. If you're doing it right, it's coming. But this isn't a negative message. There's hope in recognizing resistance for what it is and how it comes. So we must learn to recognize it. And that in itself is some kind of art form. Knowing that it's there is half the battle, because the worst enemy is the enemy you can't see. Resistance has this way of rewarding short-term efforts. It'll pacify you by giving you what you want right now. And I think it almost never comes later in the game, because then you're too close to the end. It's like when you're hungry, it comes as like chocolate cake. When you're tired, it comes as an afternoon nap. Often it's just like a comfortable warm blanket that just like slowly descends on your creative career. But make no mistake, it is sabotage in disguise, whether it's self-inflicted or externalized. The reward of the creative act is the act itself. It's not the paycheck. It's not the next opportunity. It's the thing that you're doing. It's the work. The work is the reward because you get to bring life into the world. And that's what resistance hates. It'll come physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And every professional needs to understand this. Whether you want to believe in all that stuff or not, there is realities beyond the here and now working to or against our efforts. And you can consciously partner or war against those things, or you can just let them wash over you and control your career and life. Identifying resistance is half the battle. You will ultimately manifest what you focus on, even if it's out of sheer ignorance. So whether you bear the fruit of creativity or resistance has everything to do with what you let your imagination settle on. Don't give resistance any more power than it already has. In my early 20s, I learned to sail, and I did that in a program with a group of other people, and together we hired this retired Navy captain, and he asked a few of us if we wanted to go out into a storm that was blowing like 35, 40 knot winds. He understood resistance. That storm could propel him forward as much as it could run him aground, send him off course, or just drag him into the abyss. Recognizing resistance as it comes can be a guidepost telling us that we're going the right way. Resistance doesn't come for those that aren't a threat. Resistance comes to those that are pursuing meaning and purpose that goes beyond their own life. So what's the point? Don't just create. Don't just try. But create bravely, boldly. Create to such a degree that you become a threat to resistance. And when it comes, recognize it for what it is, and even leverage it to bring life into being that couldn't otherwise exist.